Welcome back to Make It Modern, the YouTube channel where we create affordable and stylish DIYs. In this week's video, we're going to be creating an outdoor patio table. And we got this table for 15 bucks, got a few chairs from Facebook Marketplace. There were some mishaps along the way, so stay tuned and we hope you enjoy.
Welcome to our garage, and side note, please excuse the mess. As you all know, our house is a work in progress and the garage is where the magic happens. So it is the least tidy rooms of our houses. Anyways, I digress. We did pick up this table from a website called All Surplus. If you don't know what All Surplus mean, I highly recommend you check it out. This table, $15. Now it is a solid table, it is nice, it is just not fitting the vibe that it is we are looking for. What are we going to do, you may ask? Well, we wanted to keep this a cheap, budget-friendly DIY. The way that we're going to do that is with concrete! Now, step one of this process, as you can see, we have slits here in the table where if we were to just pour in concrete, the concrete would fall right through. So step one is to place a sheet of MDF board. We actually already have this as a leftover from another project. So savings right there, and that's what we're gonna go ahead and do right now.
So all of the cuts are finally complete, so we're just going to use our drills here and some standard screws to attach it. Later on, we're gonna get some Bondo and some filler, so we won't have to worry about any of these seams or any of the holes. We're finally at the fun part of the project, getting the concrete onto the actual table itself. We went to Lowe's and picked up this Quikrete countertop mix, and we have this bucket here. It calls for about 8 pints of water. We're not gonna use the whole bag, so we only have about 5 pints in here. Okay, so we lied. You want it to be a little bit runnier than what we made. So we are just scooping all of the concrete into the middle with our new batch. That way we can mix it. So Hannah's over here folding in the cheese.
What does that mean? What does fold in the cheese mean?
So we are going to do round 2 of this pour here. It's a little bit runnier. We added a little bit more water, but it looks a lot better now. So we'll get going with that. And that concludes this week's episode of She-Hulk. So the concrete has been setting up for about an hour or so, and it's just tacky enough to add a little personalization.
Go. Force it in as deep as you can.
So I am blaming this all on Billy. She put her paws where they did not need to be. And as you can tell, it's very brittle. We have never done anything with concrete before, so, plan A, that was a fail. We're gonna move on to plan B. Rather than fussing with more concrete and trying to get the perfect solution down, we went to Lowe's and we picked up this porcelain tile. This is going to hopefully work a lot better than the concrete. So what we're doing with this is we are actually putting it on in beads and then spreading it out. You want as much contact with the MDF as possible. And we already spaced them all out just to make sure that we have equal overhang. And since these are on a grid pattern, we have these 1/8" spacers, which are going to give us a beautiful grid.
We've got all of our goop spread apart, and David is making me film this, so I have to talk really fast because we only have like 5 minutes to work with this. But when you're placing your tiles in this grid pattern, when you just set it down, the spaces in between can compress. So if you kind of set it down in a pulling motion, it equalizes out the spaces. You see that pulling motion? Kind of pull it towards you rather than push it, because that will compress the spaces. Hardly any need for any spacers. See, even right here, there's a couple squished spaces, but now it's too late to do anything because the goop drives so fast. So now that the table is all laid down with the tiles, David did so on his birthday. Happy birthday, David. If you want to wish David a happy birthday, like this video, comment, and subscribe. I know it would make his day. Anyways, moving on, we got the tile in place. It's looking great. And then also David went in and chiseled off these edges here. Now it's just time to grout it and then we'll be all done. We did decide to go with a white grout. I am hoping that it is okay in the outdoors. I think it will be. It'll be covered. Plus I think it'll look really cool with this particular tile. So we got a float here, and basically all you have to do is slap on that grout, and then with a wet sponge go ahead and wipe off the excess, and just make sure you do that several times, otherwise your tile will be hazy. We don't even like hazy beers, so why would we like hazy tiles? So we've got our grout, our bucket of water, and all we gotta do is plop it on there and then float it on over. So when floating your grout over the tiles, you do want to hit the lines at approximately a 45-degree angle. Since this is a grid pattern, we are going to be hitting it from all angles, but try to hit it at 45-degree angle. So as I said, nobody likes a hazy tile. It is nice if you have a partner to go in after you and wipe up the grout as you go. Now we're going to wipe it up as we go, and we're going to give it a nice clean scrub when we're all done. That way we ensure that there's no haze on these tiles.
Well, that's all that we have for you in this week's video. As always, make sure that you like and subscribe. That way YouTube knows that you think we're cool, and they should too. And while you're at it, go ahead and watch one of these videos. We think you'll enjoy it. And we'll see you next week.